Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Tribe family. Welcome to our Tribe Conversations. We are busy running a mental health campaign called My Mind, My Health. And with me in the studio today, we have the incredible Burt and Simone. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much, Greg. What an intro.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here with you.
Sounds pretty incredible. I agree with that. But yeah, it's such an honor and privilege to be a guest and to have this opportunity just to chat.
I know we've been Zooming for almost the last 2 years.
We do exist.
We are real people.
So we are not being catfished.
No, not avatars, actual people.
It's so good to finally get to meet you guys and have you in the studio and you guys joining us for our mental health campaign. But before we get into this topic, you are running an organization called TLT,
Yes.
and I know that you guys are doing such incredible work within the youth space, within the school space. Can you please just share with our listeners, what is TLT? What does it stand for and what do you guys do?
Sure. TLT stands for Tomorrow's Leaders in Training. And that essentially really wraps up what our organization is about. We really believe in impacting the next generation, equipping them with the right tools to make wise decisions, because we believe the next generation will take South Africa to where it was always designed to be. And in order for us to see that happen, we need to really do the groundwork now, plant and water seeds, and ensure that we are creating spaces that are brave to engage with young people so that they can not only talk about what's on their heart, but also be supported and equipped by people that actually love and care for them and that actually want them to become all they were designed to be. And so we're an organization that really believes that we're not operating from personal agenda, but what we want to see is South Africa come alive. And in order to see South Africa come alive, we want to see this generation have the little sparks in them also come alive. And in doing so, and in partnership with other organizations, we believe that, South Africa will honestly be a light to the rest of the world. That's what we want to see. I can talk about this far as well. I'll say this very quickly. What I want to see is South Africa lead the way for first world countries. So I don't want to see an export going out of South Africa. I want to see people coming in here because of what we carry, and people that are in here taking what we have to other nations to demonstrate what it is to be a nation that is living in what they were created and designed to be.
Sure, that is so good. That is so good. And on the topic of young people, Africa is the youngest continent in the world. I think we have an average age of 19 years old. So the question is, can we actually afford to ignore this generation of young people?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, there's two ways of looking at that. We can ignore them, but they won't be ignored by something else. And so what we choose is so important, and in order to engage with them, we ourselves actually have to be educated as well. And so I think the question, can we ignore them? Absolutely not. We have to be brave enough to engage with them and step into the spaces that they're in. Absolutely.
And the big thing is, if we do not grow with them, they will outgrow us. And we will lose them. If we don't do anything now, we will lose this generation. If we want to see change, sustainable change, in South Africa, in our nation, we need to invest in young people now. And one of these issues is, mental health challenges. I know that you as TLT are busy with mental health programs within schools. Why did you go into this space? And secondly, what are you seeing among young people? What are the issues? What's coming up in schools?
Well, if I just think back to when I was in high school, mental health wasn't even a thing. I think maybe I heard that word once in LO, but never really again. It was never spoken about in our family or amongst friends. And so even deciding, like many years ago, when I decided to even start studying psychology, it was even something that it was so like, wow, what is that even? You really have to be mentally sick to go and speak to a counselor or seek mental help. And that's when I started realizing, oh my goodness, we all have a mental health. maybe not everyone struggles with a mental illness, but our mental health influences our physical health, and our physical and emotional health influences our mental health. And so I believe in the holistic approach that we have to look after how we are doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. And if we can look after all four of those things equally, that really makes us a healthy human. And so going into schools, now we live in a time where mental health is huge. Everyone loves the word mental health, and sometimes I think it gets thrown around a little bit too much. We often can hide behind our mental health. Sometimes we can fake our mental health. And so really my heart going into schools and working with young people is giving them the tools, knowing what is mental health, what is it really, how is your mental health, how can you look after your mental health, and how can you influence your peers, your teachers, and your parents on their mental health. And so if we can learn how to take responsibility of our own mental health, we can be an example to others and influence them. And so I think going into schools, we really are seeing that we live in 2020. What a time to be alive. It's crazy out there. and so I think comparison is a big thing that influences our mental health. And so with comparison comes labels. We spoke a little bit about this earlier today, us as a team, where we just said, like, if you're not labeled, there's something wrong with you. You almost have to be labeled.
Yeah.
You have to be labeled that there's something wrong with you, and so what are the labels? Often I think when you're growing up and you're hitting puberty, you're in high school, you're confused, you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, it's almost easier to get labeled because it almost gives you identity. And so I'm passionate about knowing that, or just reminding young people that their identity is not defined based off their mental health. You can't control the circumstances you find yourself in. You can't control your crisis or your trauma you've perhaps gone through. And so how can I make sure that I'm healthy, make sure that my past does not define me, make sure that my circumstances I'm currently finding myself in, I can really look after my emotions and my mental health well, so that I am still in control of my future and setting myself up for success.
And if we are not acknowledging what are the relevant conversations like mental health, we are doing not just them a disservice, but we're actually doing our society a disservice. And so we have to be able to do that and do it well. And all of these things, that we talk through, and I'm learning as I go as well. With mental health in so many different ways, and it's such a broad spectrum. But I loved what Sim said. I just want to highlight it again because I think that's such an important thing where we talk about mental health and mental illness. I think everyone has mental health. And so we must be aware of that because there's no stigma, and I think that's been one of the things that has been so difficult for people that really struggle is thinking that I can't talk about this. No one's going to understand. But actually, at some point in our life, we will all struggle with our mental health in some way, shape, or form. And so if we acknowledge that, and as a society, then we can have more compassion and more empathy towards people that are struggling, because, hey, at some point, I'm going to need my hands lifted as well. And so we can be that person and also have people be that to us. It's important.
And the last thing I want to add on to this is we as a company, we are really passionate about breaking mental health stigmas. Saying that it's okay to not be okay. And that's where our brave space concept comes in, is we want to create brave spaces in schools for students to say, hey, I'm actually not okay.
A lot of times young people react out of not knowing.
Yes.
They really do not know. So they would either, be scared of this label, because then people are going to think you're crazy or you're weird or you're the depressed kid. So we shy away from acknowledging what it is that is going on within us, because we really do not know.
Really, absolutely. I would completely agree with that. There's two ways to look at this. Young people are going to be educated about a topic through some way, shape, or form. And it's where they are educated about it that is really critical, because there's so much noise in the world. There's so much information in the world, and it's so easy to tap into the wrong information. And if you do, it's dangerous. It really, really is. And so what we are passionate about is ensuring that we acknowledge and that we have conversations through, we believe, a trusted source in us as an organization and other organizations we collaborate with. And that's something I want to highlight. Collaboration is so important. Exactly like we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's not down to one entity to have all the answers, but it's down to society coming together to provide solutions. And if we have this opportunity to educate well, to talk about it, to invite others in who might have experienced it, it's so powerful because we're also demonstrating the power of acknowledgement and unity in doing so.
Yeah. Why is it important to really create awareness around this topic, but more specifically to empower young people with the resources?
We want to see a young society, the next generation rise up that are free from their shackles, that are not carrying weights that they shouldn't have to, and also that they are stepping and walking in a way that is not just freeing for themselves, but freeing for those that are around them. Because if they are enabled and they are empowered and they are free, we want them to demonstrate that to the rest of society, to be contributing citizens, and to take, as I said at the start, we believe that South Africa was created for so much more, and we have absolute gold in our nation. You know, every young person we encounter, there's gold in them already. We're not planting that in them. It's there. We're just helping mine that, bring that to surface, and the mental health element can be something that suppresses that because they can't see that for themselves. And so for us to speak about it, to bring it to the surface, to help them walk through that, well, it's not just beneficial for them, it's freeing for, I believe, our nation. And I said it really quickly at the beginning. I want South Africa to be a demonstration to the world of what it means to walk in freedom. And mental health is one of those elements where it can hold you back if you do not acknowledge and journey through it.
Awesome. I know that you guys are busy in this space within the schools. Can you, maybe there's a teacher out there listening, or a principal or somebody listening, and they want tools and resources to take to their schools?
We run multiple workshops. We call them hot topic workshops, and we cover a range of different topics from diversity, social literacy, gender-based violence. Mental health is one of the key topics we deliver, and we have conversations around. We've run, just looking at the Western Cape itself, we've recently partnered with the Western Cape Education Department, and we've run close on 30 workshops, I think, already in schools, where we work with young people, but also educators themselves. I said it to you when we chatted earlier, I believe in supporting the tripod of learner, educator, and parent, and building bridges of communication between all of those. Because if we can do that and we have better communication, then it's healthier for everyone. So yeah, we're fully equipped and geared up with fantastic content, relevant 21st century material that is both engaging and meaningful in equipping. And we are able to deliver that through our facilitators, or also equip others to run those programs for us. And beside the short-term workshops, we also run a year-long leadership development program, so that we can journey, because we believe in mentorship and journeying something. That's critical, not just an in and out kind of answer or touch point, but where we commit and we journey and we build together. And so if there's an educator, a headmaster, mistress, a learner, a parent, anyone sitting out there or listening to this, if you want to get in touch and want to find out more, please do reach out to us.
Is there any final words of encouragement or any, advice that you can give them during this season that they find themselves in?
Oh, that's a great question. Whatever you find yourself in right now, take a moment and go write down what can I control and what can't I control, and focus on what you can control and let go of that you can't control. And then go share that with someone. Go take your list to a person, whether it's a family member, a best friend, your spouse, and say, this is what I'm focusing on. This is the list of things that is in my control. And that will just take away anxiety, excess stress. And I hope that encourages you with your mental health.
And I'd just like to quickly add that no matter what you are going through and what space you find yourself in, to not believe the lie that you're alone. Because you're not alone. And it takes one moment to reach out to one person and just go, hey, I need a bit of help, which is completely okay. We all need help at some point in life.
Awesome. I back that idea, and I know that you guys are going to continue doing great work within the schools and among this generation of young people.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tribe family, thank you so much for joining us on our Tribe Conversation, where we are busy with a mental health campaign over the purpose of creating awareness around this topic. Catch you guys on our next podcast. Goodbye. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Great.
Thank you.